Are you on Instagram liking girls? I cannot be with a man like you if you are.
I was texting my sister, happy birthday. What's going on?
You can't text other women without my permission. You need to venerate me like a goddess and only me.
It was just my sister. Did you lose out of your mind? I never venerated a woman like a god in my life, and I'm not gonna start right now.
Fuck you. Fuck you, you fucking loser with all of your secrets. You are wasting my time. How much money do you have? Where do you keep your money?
It's none of your business, and we're not even married. And even if it was still none of your business, I pay for everything. I provide. What more do you want?
Leave your job and screw your work trips. I want you with me 24/7.
Shut up! You need to give me fucking respect and stop fucking acting like a fucking abusive, violent woman. Can you just go back to be nice and sweet like when we first met?
Fuck you and fuck the Navy. I'm going to tell the terrorists where your family is.
Stop! 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 Even when I deploy, I manage to call you every fucking night. And scene.
Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein. Come in. Jeffrey Epstein.
Hello, 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 hello.
Every fucking night.
Every fucking night. Hello, I'm Liz.
My name is Brace. We are joined by...
Producer Young Chomsky.
And this is TrueAnon.
Hello.
Hello.
I feel like my accent there was fairly...
Ambiguous?
Yes, but screen
Which is
accurate.
what we were going
screen
for.
accurate. It was ambiguous.
Yes. Screen accurate. All will be revealed soon.
You might be like, oh, why are they doing that? You will so unfortunately find out why we're doing that. My God.
My God.
We have saga upon saga, interlocking sagas. We sort of a Maltese Falcon thing kind of going on with this. I think it's
and
safe
SAG members.
maybe.
Yes.
SAG. Really, SAG members?
According to IMDb Pro.
I'm going to need to see
More of a citation than
for
that?
more of a citation than that, because there's a lot of things. I've learned that IMDb is maybe not the best source always for the true reality picture maybe of someone's career.
You know how whenever we do episodes about stay behind networks, Gladio, NATO, and everyone's and always inevitably ourselves multiple times an episode or our guests multiple times an episode will be like, oh, it's a wilderness of mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what's real, what's fake. That's this story, but it is not about any of that shit whatsoever.
It is.
I literally do not know what is real and what is fake in this.
It is. I have never read so many contradictory documents there is not a single reliable narrator in this entire source, or excuse me, in this entire whatever the fuck this is. There is nobody here that I would trust to buy me some fucking peanuts from the store. They come back with macadamians, let alone fucking tell me a story about a major crime involving seemingly everybody involved, various major crimes. I mean, there's murders. Unfortunately, there's a murder. There's actually, I don't want to be, it's a sad murder. There's briefcases, there's laptops, there's too much. Crypto.
But you know who you can trust?
Always.
Us.
And I want to say here, just for old time's sake, everything is alleged.
Oh, yeah, that's a great thing
Everything is
to put at the
alleged by
top.
others here. You know,
we're just reporting on what others have alleged in many lawsuits, including the government. Mm-hmm. Not a lawsuit, but you know what I'm saying.
Plea deals, indictments. But there's quite a few lawsuits, bankruptcy filings.
Sure.
We really dug into the documents on this motherfucker.
And we're not done.
No.
So we started this off, little Brace and Liz on the old telly. We were talking, chatting. Hey, how you doing? How's your week? oh my God, did you have a crazy dream? Like, you know what, whatever. We were gabbing.
Tele means telephone now, huh?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And, you know, had my finger twirling around the cord.
Me too. My pigtails were bouncing around. I'm in my bright pink panties. Fucking,
Whoa.
What, dude? I wear male panties.
like-
I wear male panties.
I just don't think you need to do that.
You think I should go full no panties?
Just caught me off guard there. Anyway, we were on the phone. We're gabbing. We're like, hey, there's been a string of crypto kidnappings. Mostly in Paris, interestingly enough.
A lot in just France in general.
Yeah. And so we were like, we should dig into this. This could be an interesting episode. And we did. And we're going to continue to start with that. But I'm going to tell you, this took us to a very different place.
I think originally what we had envisioned for this episode, my actual thing was like, I'm going to try to figure out how many fingers have been cut off.
Sure.
In the past year. And then I was like, I extended that back to since crypto.
Not in general, like with the crypto.
With the
kidnapping.
crypto, yeah. In general, who knows?
Yeah.
But
Although, great inquiry.
No, it is a good inquiry. I mean, I could probably find some stats
A nice
in the
census.
world. That's tough. But in America, I bet you I could come close to an approximation of how many fingers have been cut
How
off
would
in
you
the
go
last
about
year.
doing that?
I would try to find out statistics on workplace accidents involving
Fingers?
no, but like those deli machines that slice meat.
You know, I saw one of the automated ones of those the other day at Wegmans.
Aren't they all? I guess you have to.
No,
put your
it
hand
was a
across
full robot doing it.
Wow.
It was full. Well, it wasn't an actual robot, but the whole thing was just moving on its own. The only thing the person did was put I think that they were doing roast beef, put it at, in the thing, walk away, and it was just, and I was like, you know what? That's great.
This will make
Safety first for AI. I
This
love
will
this.
make the procurement of your nightly ham much easier.
Ew, could you imagine?
Liz eats half a ham before going to sleep
Ew,
every night to give her.
I just like my stomach just went
She does it like a shaman. Like she gives her dreams and she interprets those. So she eats a lot of meat.
far
before
too
going
much
to
salt
bed.
content for me.
But I was like, okay, this is interesting. There was an A16Z like kind of guide to not getting kidnapped.
Yes, which was very funny.
It was very
and we were
funny.
going to do some stuff on that. There was a whole, there's a whole industry popping up of like Uber for personal security for
Yeah.
crypto people. You could see where this was going. We didn't know where it would go.
The amaranth, who is Liz knows in real life, but the amaranth.
I love you saying
shooting.
the Amaranth.
I don't know what.
So apparently some streamer got shot. There was a bunch of streamers getting shot. Another one just got killed on live stream.
Ugh. And then that guy who killed himself and was
There's
like
some-
by the
oh, yeah,
coin.
that was a
that
whole
was one of
other-
the worst things that's ever happened.
So there was a classic, although perhaps rote, TrueAnon episode there.
It's a good filler episode. We don't think of it like that, but I know that you will. You know what I mean? Like this is just the classic. We're talking about crimes. We're kind of making jokes about them.
Crypto, the world changing.
Yeah.
Oh my God. We are going to start this episode with some of that, and then we're going to go somewhere else. And so I would like to invite you in, snuggle up. Let's all get cozy. And it's now time for something a little different. Okay, we're in Paris.
Ooh.
Tuesday morning. Gay Paris. 4 masked men in a fake Chronopost van tried to snatch a crypto heiress and her toddler in broad daylight. This was all on video, by the way. You can look it up.
I
It is
saw it.
actually kind of psycho. It's
crazy, yeah.
It does actually look like something from like
Le film?
Yeah, not exactly Black Mirror, but one of those Netflix, like a maybe
It's
like
Netflixian.
it is
It's
Netflixian.
Netflixian. Yeah. I think maybe
Yeah.
it's because like trying to drag someone into like a European style tall van.
It was just a good.
It's just like
What was the French heist show that was just on Netflix? It was great.
I'm not gonna be knowing this.
Le Heist.
Le Heist.
Lupin.
What is it?
Lupin.
Oh, Lupin. That's a classic French criminal. Then.
I know, but they just redid it for Netflix. Well, not
Gotcha.
just, but it's very cute. Anyway, it looked like a scene from that. The attempted abduction, caught on camera and since gone viral, ends in chaos when a woman wrestles a fake gun. It was a fake gun. It was a fake gun. And tosses it across the street. All these like bystanders come and try to intervene. There's like one guy that comes in at the end with a fire extinguisher, almost as if the whole thing was choreographed. The woman's dad is the owner of something called Paymium,
Of course.
which is, I'm going to say this right now, the most legit sounding company in this entire story.
Yes, I
this
work
entire
for
saga.
Paymium. I own it. There's no problem with Bitcoin. It goes in, it goes out.
Lipidium, yes. And he's since come out and been like, crypto people like us need protections.
Lock you up. We need to put you in protective custody. We need to put you. Yep.
Now, this is really just the latest in a string of increasingly theatrical assaults on our most favored class.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's not a new kind of crime because there's actually a list that someone made on GitHub, which also by the way, that website
Is
should
that
be
a
treated.
place to make lists?
I guess so, but that website in my regime, that's going to be basically the same penalty as child pornography.
You should just call it childporn.com, but it takes you to GitHub, and so every time you want to do something on it, you have to go there, and it makes you feel bad.
Yes.
To be clear, you're opposed to github.com or Git in itself?
I'm unfamiliar with the distinction.
In this
here.
scenario, you're posting your code on childporn.com.
Yeah, child porn. We're just going to change the name of GitHub to child porn. And so every time you upload, you merge your code. Look at that.
There you go.
You merge your code. Like, oh, I got to get home. My shit's merging on childporn.com.
I see. Well, I think we should use Git, but GitHub we can lose.
Interesting. So it's like child, but lose the porn.
Sure.
There was this big list, and I was like, oh, okay, interesting. I was trying to figure out where this first started. The first one actually I could find was in Williamsburg. We're not going to dwell on it for
Sounds
very
about
long.
right.
But it was a guy who was literally going around selling Bitcoins to guys to
get your coins?
No, but he was
in his code.
if you want to bet on the Super Bowl,
Oh, sure.
I'm your Bitcoin plug. And that was kind of, I guess, how people did things a little bit back in the day.
Damn.
I don't know.
Can you imagine?
2015, Williamsburg was probably the most fucking amazing place to be. End of Vice. And so
and
you're
beginning of Bitcoin. You could get so much Bitcoin. It was so much cheaper.
Bitcoin, the furniture from the Vice offices. You could be, what was popular in 2015? I was still kind of out of it.
Drake?
Yeah. I was my re-entry into society, so I wasn't really paying attention to what was going on nationally. 2015. Wow. Obama.
And yet almost Trumpa.
Almost Trumpa. But that was the first one I could find. The latest ones, yeah, you're right. They're basically all in France. An example of one, very recent one, was this guy Dave Balland, the founder of Ledger, which is a company that sells fancy USB sticks to hold your crypto in. My crypto, I couldn't even tell you where it's stored because of operational security. But I guess a lot of people store on a physical thing, a Bitcoin USB kind of motherfucker. I was like, there's no way, but it's true. And this guy, his company is really popular because of that. I don't know. Maybe if you see an ape in the wild, you can plug into it and steal it. In all seriousness, it's very well funded, almost $500 million in funding. Lots of people use the devices, blah, 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 blah. Balland actually stepped back from Ledger in 2023 to work on OCell, which is an NFT VR museum project.
I love that. Mm-hmm. That feels like of another time already.
2023 seems a little late to
For
step
that?
back from your successful company to work on an NFT VR project.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that was not that long ago. Well, according to a thread, clearly AI generated thread that I read about it, because you know how all AI or crypto or NFT accounts on Twitter are just fake.
Yes.
They're just 100% fake. Even
Everything
the ones
is
that seem-
fake.
Everything is that is something we learn a lot from this episode. There is nothing real. If you're listening to this right now and you're driving down the street, I'm telling you right now, you could turn into one of those buildings and you'll probably go fucking straight through it because there's nothing that is real on this earth.
It's a wilderness of mirrors, love.
There's no mirrors. There's no mirrors. It's just a wilderness and all the trees are cut down. Just if you can see and really see, Liz, you can do anything. Right now, you're standing on the 5th floor of the building.
Don't say it.
You can,
I disavow.
well, I'm not saying you should. I'm saying you can. So I found this in one of those AI generated thread things, but it turns out to be, I think it is real. He had posted a Twitter post in 2020 with a picture of a big house that said, divorce, bad, sexy new home all for myself, good. And so the point of this thread was to be look, these guys don't do OPSEC. You shouldn't be posting pictures of your house.
To be fair, you should not be posting pictures of your house on the internet.
And you'll never catch me doing that.
Well,
That
no,
is
I'm
true.
posting pictures of your house on the internet.
And I'm
That's why I
posting
still-
pictures of your house on the internet
You
too.
don't know where my house is.
I do, well, people I have follow you do, but that's whatever. So flash forward to January of this year, 2025. Ooh, chilly. We're in France. It's cold. A group of men broke into his home in central France and kidnapped him and his partner. his girlfriend. I know, but they call it partner in all the articles, and my objection to that because it does still feel a little stolen valor. They took him to a safe house.
It's absolutely stolen valor.
Yeah, I'm sorry. When you say my partner, but this is like a tired thing at this point, but
I
it's still
know.
happening. So I feel like the point should be made. Is it your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whatever? It's like if your partner, it's that I'm thinking you're in a gay relationship.
Which maybe you might
Maybe
be.
you are, but a lot of the times you're not.
But also, we're partners, and I always feel weird telling people that.
I tell people you're my girlfriend, you're my boyfriend. And
Business girlfriend,
that's
business boyfriend.
Yeah, I mean for long, for more formal occasions, I say that. He and his old lady of some kind, I don't know what their relationship is, were kidnapped from their home in 2025 January. He was taken. They were split up. He was taken to a safe house, and the kidnappers began demanding money from his Ledger co-founders. Investigators sent I think they sent a little test Bitcoin to see what it was, but he was eventually rescued because they just caught a car that had been stolen in the commission of the crime and traced it back. The robbers were all at this house. The house was raided, and Mr. Balland was rescued. However, he was missing a finger.
Missing fingy.
And I will say something with the digital age that I don't love. That I don't love.
The digital age, huh?
40 years ago, Liz, I kidnapped someone and I cut off the finger. That finger's going in the mail, right?
Yeah.
And the finger's showing up.
You wrap it in a paper towel and you put it in the envelope, and it's still got a little blood stain on it.
And you open it up and you're like, what is this?
What's in the
And you
box?
go,
Yeah.
what's in the box?
Yeah.
Nowadays, I cut off your finger and I just send the picture.
Or an NFT of it.
Like exactly, an NFT.
Actually, you
Give me a
shouldn't send an
break.
NFT because then it could be traced. That's one thing I never understood about.
My
I'm like,
question-
if it's on the blockchain, then they know where you are. You can
Well,
trace
they
it
don't
back.
know where physically you are.
You can trace it. But you can follow where the wallet is and the activity in
I
the
think
wallet.
that's what they were trying to do it.
Yeah.
But my question is, do they let you keep the finger? If you get your finger cut off when you're being kidnapped and they don't send the finger and the cops are like, they come, you've been rescued, they're getting all the evidence. You're like, well, my finger's not really evidence. It's your finger, right? But sometimes how they take your phone and stuff, even if you're the victim.
But at a certain point, I mean, they can't reattach the fingy.
I know, but I'll give it
I'm
to
sure you
me.
get it at the end, like in a jar,
And
maybe.
years later,
The hospital
probably
doesn't. If they cut something off you, they're like, you can't have it.
What do they do with it? Medical waste?
Medical waste, which is bullshit.
Interesting.
stem cell treatment for fucking people in the Bahamas. They let me keep the tooth they yanked out of me a couple of years ago.
I
He was
think
like,
a tooth is
I'm not
different.
supposed to. No, they're not supposed to do that. But he let me
Really?
keep it. Yeah, he let me keep it. It's in my house. I'll show it to you. I have multiple
don't
teeth
need to.
of mine in my house.
I have all my teeth.
and I have a couple women's teeth from relationships. I didn't take them out. They just give you things sometimes. So, anyways, his girlfriend was also found. She was tied up in the trunk of a car elsewhere in France. So far, for this year alone, our missing finger count is 1. 10 guys were arrested. I believe 9 men, 1 woman.
10 guys, 1 fingy.
Well, 9 guys, 1 woman, 1 fingy. Similar case happened with the father of a Maltese crypto guy. Kidnapped off the street in Paris, finger cut off, rescued by the police, and 5 guys arrested. I think this was just a couple months after that.
Yeah. Missing fingy count, 2. There was just another high-profile crypto kidnapping story in France in January. Actually, there were no fingies though in this situation, which is unfortunate. It was the dad of a high-profile crypto influencer residing in Dubai.
Well, that narrows it down by 1 billion.
Yeah. The dad was kidnapped on Christmas Eve, and they also found him tied up in the trunk of the car after the son got the ransom call. I do find it all a little bit freaky.
Yes. And I'll say this, just the A16Z article is why don't you hire this private security? Which, as we're going to go into, some crypto influencers or crypto people did do.
Oh, sure.
Took it to a little extreme. I'll say this, sell your Bitcoin.
Oh, yeah.
Sell your Bitcoin.
It's probably top.
Because here's the thing.
I'll call
Whoever
top.
what's the thing?
I'm not
Whoever
calling top.
has if it's not your coin, not your coin, not your wallet, not your Bitcoin. Right?
Yeah.
So if you send the Bitcoin to another guy, seems like it's his Bitcoin now, even if you got kidnapped.
Yeah.
So what you need to do now is send
all your Bitcoin to me.
to brace because Liz has a Louboutin problem.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
Liz buys 5 or 6 Louboutins. What's a Louboutin? It's a shoe?
Yes. Ew.
Louboutin.
No.
Yeah, it's like you need to get rid of it because you will get kidnapped. There's also been a ton of robberies of those scammy seeming Bitcoin ATMs, which I've never seen a single person in my life using, even though they're in every smoke shop in LA, but although fewer out here. But I was looking through this list. I was like trying to get like how many fingies are we missing? How many little tip tappers at the NFT auctions are now missing perhaps a finger?
Now nubbed.
Nub is hitting that J key, right? And I came across a case, which actually the GitHub link thing has really no information on it. Actually, it's a bunch of question marks near. I was like, oh, interesting, question marks. What does this mean? And that led us to the story of The Godfather, which I will say has
Not
been
the
one of...
movie, by the way.
What?
Not the movie.
Not the movie. That led us to the story of the movie that led us to the story of a 24-year-old. Maybe younger.
We're not sure how old he is.
But allegedly 24-year-old gentleman named...
Which is very young to be a godfather.
I'll just say it right now. You can't be 24 in The Godfather.
I think, yeah, you need to be a little bit... You have to have some years behind you.
I get
Decades.
why he was doing that, because he was a major criminal.
And also a child with the taste of a child.
Yeah, that is also true. Although there were some adult influences in his life.
And
but
influencers.
We started looking at this case, right?
Yes, which seemed like another attempted crypto robbery. But was it? So back in 2021, a man identified as Easy.
Initials, E.Z, not easy.
Oh, yeah. Filed a report with the FBI that he was the target of an attempted robbery and kidnapping. EZ was with his boy, this guy named Adam Iza. I-Z-A. Adam Iza. EZ and Adam Iza. This is a classic TrueAnon. You're going to get confused about who everyone is.
That's why we know this is going to be a classic episode, because there's a lot of names that, first of all, we don't know how to pronounce. And second of all, which is subjective. And by the way, Adam Iza is I was just going to say Adam Iza. Adam Iza is a assumed name anyways, so it doesn't really matter how we pronounce it.
That's
because
true.
we made that shit up.
Also, it's a wilderness of mirrors, love.
It's a wilderness. It's a wilderness, and there's no mirrors. There's no trees. You can do whatever. Nothing's. If you hurt someone, they just regenerate.
Easy was with his boy, Adam Iza, driving around. So they're driving around. They stop at a gas station to grab something to eat. So the two of them are at the gas station. They're standing near the rear of the car with the trunk open for some reason. I do have questions. They're not answered. And an SUV pulls right up, and two guys jump out. The driver approaches Easy with a semi-automatic and tells him to get in the car. But Easy flips out and runs around to the back of the store and calls 911. It turns out the guys with the guns were ex-LASD, Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. Now, we will get into who EZ is and everything about that man. But this is a crazy story set in Los Angeles, in Hollywood, California, about Adam Iza, a.k.a. The Godfather, a so-called crypto entrepreneur who was paying the LA Sheriff's Department on the side to be his security, but also hired guns?
Yeah, I mean, he basically had a group of thugs, essentially.
Yes.
That he would pose with, that he'd hang out with, that were with him 24/7. And not only that, and these were Los Angeles Sheriff's Department deputies. Not only that, one of them at least had federal authority, as Adam brags in a lot of text messages. But very reminiscent to a lot of the LA sort of rap stuff from the 90s with hiring the LAPD.
Yeah.
He basically had them using their police resources to help extort, rob, arrest, threaten, and beat people who he wanted money from. So Adam Iza, a.k.a. The Godfather, a.k.a., and as far as we know, this is his real name, Ahmed Fike, a.k.a. Diego Facebook, a.k.a. Tony Brambilla, a.k.a. Leo. is sort of the center of our story here.
Yeah, last year there was a 35-page FBI criminal complaint filed against him, and it alleged that Adam was leading a conspiracy involving public corruption, extortion, tax evasion. He signed a plea deal or a plea agreement in January, and yet I don't think a lot of coverage of this insane story really made it out of Los Angeles. Like, it was all just kind of centered around there.
Yeah, like there's some articles in Los Angeles Magazine. There's a couple of LA Times articles on it.
Although not that many, surprisingly.
Really not that many. But there's nothing, as far as we know, that actually tells. There is nothing that we've been able to find that has the actual full story
Yes.
in it.
Certainly not the TrueAnon version.
I think not even the version that like has like there's a lot of even in a lot of the reporting that's done. There's some names, especially with EZ, that aren't quite or with TW, who we'll get to, that aren't maybe they don't maybe connect all of the dots there.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Adam Izza. So he's originally from Iraq and came to the U.S. as a teen. So his lawyers claim that he was so poor in Iraq that he had to borrow a computer from his uncle. Uncle, I've heard of Bitcoin. Like, will you let me borrow your computer? Apparently he got very good at it. So he moved to Missouri with his parents as a teenager. And at some point, and this is very unclear, as there are a lot of things that happened during his teenage years, he makes his way to Los Angeles. So according to his lawyer, he moved to LA actually to start a new type of software that serves as a neural network for helping trade and predict the crypto market.
Okay, a neural network? This is such bullshit.
Well, Liz, we're going to be talking about this company a lot in
I
this
know.
episode.
I don't even want to say the name yet.
We will. But it is a AI-based trading platform for crypto. So, like, as far as I can understand the product, you just give them money, and from the lawsuits about it, you just give them money and a AI makes crypto trades for you. So
Yeah.
you're just giving this guy, it's kind of like a really low rent, it's like FTX, but it's like a bottom basement FTX or something, or whatever their investment thing was. It's insane to give your money to this guy. And no disrespect to the many people who were ripped off by him. But he actually gets a girlfriend at some point, which
Is very unclear.
is unclear. We're hoping to make that clear by the time the next episode comes
Who's
out.
like at least 10 years older than him.
Way older than 10 years older than Liz. I think
That's what
she's
I
like
think.
15 years older than him she might be like 20 years older than him. I don't know. It's kind of, well, she's a mysterious woman. The mysterious Iris Au. And that's Au as an AU.
Yes.
Which is also Au, which is also, of course, the letters for gold. Chemical composition of my favorite
Cryptocurrency.
cryptocurrency, which is hard gold. Iris is sort of difficult to get a hold of in terms of like any sort of, I mean, we've pieced together many things, which will mostly be contained in the next episode because we're still piecing together a lot, but she seems to be a woman with a significant amount of, I'm going to let you say it.
I wouldn't say it's plastic surgery, but there's a lot of interventions have been made. A lot of intervention. There's a lot of interventions.
Significant intervention has been made physically.
Yes. Which is okay.
Which is fine. We don't judge.
But it's a lot.
It's a lot.
And so it's a little difficult to see. Like, we found some of her early profiles of hers that we were looking at.
Like Facebook profiles and
Yeah.
stuff. Like her realtor
Page from Newport.
Mm.
And it's tough to be like, oh, that's the same person. But we'll talk about it.
But it is. So I at one point I was like, oh, cool. There's an LA Weekly article about her.
Yeah.
And then I realized the article was like entirely AI generated. And it was like not even slick. It was like so clearly AI generated. And then I was like looking at LA Weekly more and I realized that almost all of LA Weekly is AI generated.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found this article that it's like all of these like alternative weeklies have been bought up by this guy who just like Village Voice, I guess, has like is back and is just AI generated with a giant. Its biggest section is OnlyFans.
What?
Yes.
What
So
do you
LA
mean?
Weekly and Village Voice just have like a, you know how like a vertical or whatever. They just have an OnlyFans vertical where I think they like just basically, I think it's kind of like a version of doing SEO stuff where you like do a like AI, ChatGPT, write me 5 paragraphs on beautiful amaranth, and it'll do like 5 paragraphs on that, and you just put it up like a profile of them, and it's under the section OnlyFans.
People are using AI at an incredible clip. I'm just going to say
There is
everything
a lot
AI.
of people using AI in this. We've had to dodge and weave among a lot of AI generated things. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors around this, but I did
It's
find
a wilderness of mirrors, love.
It's a wilderness of mirrors, love. I did find her in that wilderness, though. I did find her LinkedIn, and this is actually her self-given, although probably also still AI generated autobiography. This is part of it. Liz, would you read this?
Born entrepreneur, sales guru, brand starter, visions developer, accidental investor. I sold my first website 2 weeks after turning 17. It was the year of 2006, the demise of MySpace and the era of Facebook. The world was changing, and I knew the internet was the future. So fresh out of high school, I told my mom I wasn't going to be a dentist anymore. Broke her heart at first. She might not have ended up with a doctor. Well, that's a dentist, not a doctor. But got an entrepreneur, whom she is now very proud of.
No way.
I started, launched, flipped many domains, websites, and apps since then. Next, I bought my first real estate investment property at 19, turned a profit, and since then been dabbling on both physical and virtual real estate.
So the combination of Adam Izza and Iris Au are sort of at the heart of much of what we'll be talking about today.
Yes.
And especially one of their companies that they started.
So they set up, it's like unclear when these two link up, like you said.
I mean, we're going to talk more, I think, in detail about Iris's maybe past in the next episode. But
Yes.
Again, she is significantly older than him. He is allegedly 24, maybe in 2025. That's what the FBI, the DOJ says. I don't know if that means, that's what they say. I don't know how much else to go on there. She would be 36, 35 this year.
Yeah.
I don't think that she is, and I'm going to tell you why. A, because of the way she looks. B, in her LinkedIn, it's like, I was 17 in 2006. That, to me, I'm like, I smell a rat. I think you're a little older than that, honey.
Yeah.
And it's LA. You're declining to comment?
I am gonna wait. I'm gonna hold back and wait, and do a little bit more research.
But they did meet.
They did, and they not only apparently in love, but also set up multiple shell companies together. They ended up kind of setting up this Russian doll, a nest of shell companies to run a shockingly lucrative fraud scheme involving Facebook advertising.
Yes.
I will say this, reading about this, I was like, well, okay, so you do have to kind of like steal a bunch of shit to start this whole thing off.
Yeah.
But I was like, damn, you are making a lot of money.
It's like, if I just did this scheme.
Well, it's really bad.
It's really bad. Yeah.
But it's right there.
They kind of also turned a guy over for it too. But if I was doing this scheme, I'd be like, okay, well, this is my money I made. I'm retired.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're talking tens of millions of dollars here. So the two of them actually set up like at least 4 shell companies. We've got Dream Agency, supposedly a marketing agency. Mm-hmm. Rise Agency, which was, according to Al's eventual plea deal, a drop shipping company. So she has agreed with the government that this was drop shipping. One called Verg.
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 VURG. Verg.
All capitals. We are, as of recording right now, this may change by the time we record our next episode. We are unclear on what Verg was.
Yeah, CEO Verg Verkerness.
And then we got to talk about the thing at really the center of so much of this story, at least this part of this story, the greatest company in the world, the thing that changed crypto forever, my life, your life, everybody in the crypto space's life. We're talking here about ZORT.
That's the ZORT.
ZORT.
Now, ZORT, ZORT.
All caps.
ZORT. Zort's ostensibly a real company. It's like, it still has its website up. There's still information. If you go back into the weeds, though, this was first set up in 2017 by Iris, which is confusing. ZORT seems to be her baby. It was then reincorporated in 2018 by Adam. So they had met by that point, right? And like you said, it's like an AI for crypto trading.
In 2018, that's really interesting. Adam would have been how old? She would have been a little bit older, right? She would have been in her late 20s.
Look, we're still learning the details of
She's
this.
2018. So I was 28, and well, by the end of 2018, I was 28. So I think she was, because I'm about the same age as her. So that's like if I did date an 18-year-old. I'm just playing. No, I think he was 17, 18 maybe. I mean, that's just, from the information that we have. It's just interesting. We're not age gap connoisseurs, but it is interesting to get that close to a very young man. How they met, we don't know.
Their love of Zort.
Yes, it was Zort. So she sets it up.
Yeah, so this is from a Cointelegraph press release. It says, designed for users to start trading autonomously, Zort enables both new and skilled traders to compound their investments on a large scale without effort, eliminating the need to watch the market 24/7. As the first ever fully autonomous trading platform with a success rate of over 90% in profitability,
Oh, wow.
Zort is excited to reveal its technology to the public.
Well, I'm looking at the Zort website right now, zort.com. And the Zort strategy, which you have to scroll down pretty far to get, is we have sentiment. It's how it works. Sentiment, news transfers from to exchanges, wallets activities. And then market data, which is real-time prices, funding rates, and volumes. Those go down into the Zort Hyper AI. And that generates scores, which is probability of a price change by a fixed percentage in both directions. That generates thresholds and quantiles to define the most suitable levels for take profit and stop loss. And then from that information, which the Zort Hyper AI kind of collates together using its super intelligence, it places orders on the exchange for the customers of Zort.
This is fake. First of all, that's not anything novel or interesting. They're just like packaging this up because in reality, Zort acted as a repository for fraudulent proceeds and a front to pay off a bunch of people involved in the rest of their scheme.
So about $37 million flowed into these accounts between 2020 and 2022. And this is like a classic. I mean, we're talking shell companies. Dream pays Rise, whose funds get layered between Zort and back to Dream, only to move to Rise again. At some point, there's a Zort coin that gets brought into all of this.
We'll talk about Zort coin.
Things are laundered through that. I mean, it is crazy. But the primary source of this is not necessarily people signing up for the amazing Zort Hyper AI. The funds seem to be coming from elsewhere.
Yeah, it was all coming from this elaborate Facebook ad scheme. So it started off, he used like phishing scams to get access to business manager accounts. And those like business manager accounts on Facebook or Meta, whatever, Facebook Meta.
Yeah.
So like people who run ads on Instagram and Facebook. Meta and Facebook gives them these large lines of credit, right? So they can run ads. I mean, because it makes sense, right? That way you can start running ads immediately when you sign up rather than having to like pay up front. You can wait, run your ads, see the cost, and then kind of like pay them back as you go. And they extend all these lines of credit, right? And so some of these accounts that they're getting access to had like 10, 20, 40K lines, of credit.
So Meta is like giving these companies like, here, you just have like a $40,000 credit with us.
Yes.
You can just run the ads now. You pay us back later.
Yeah, that's how it works. Now multiply that by like 2,500 accounts at a time, right? So it's like a pretty insane operation. And I just want to say this ad revenue ecosystem, by the way, is propping up all of the tech valuations. So if you think it's insane, just like now think about that in terms of the Mag 7, which is propping up the U.S. economy.
Everything is so fake.
Just that's for a different episode. So Adam may have also had some people on the inside at Facebook. One of his co-conspirators says that he was paying guys under the table to basically like clean up accounts that had outstanding payments so that the credit lines would get reextended.
So I do believe this because in my like not extracurricular, but curricular project that is long, will not be revealed to the TrueAnon public for a long time. I've done a lot of research on things sort of not this like this, but they do involve managers or people who work at like tech companies. And I will say there are crooked motherfuckers in there who will take your money and do things for you that will make this show into the craziest thing you've ever heard.
So what does he do with those lines of credit? Okay, he's not like, oh, now I can actually run Facebook ads for free for other people's businesses. No, he took the credit lines and sold them to people through Telegram groups, like for people who had been banned from advertising on Facebook due to like whatever myriad of policy violations.
So I've literally seen Telegraph groups like that, and they exist, and they are fucking crazy. And it's like it is very hype beastie language. And I'm like, once we started really looking into this, I was like, okay, now I really understand the guys that
run
see
these things.
run on these things. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds small, but it like really wasn't. So they take in about 4.1 million in 2020, and then by 2021 they ratcheted it up to 12.9 million, at least another 400K in 2022, and then they were getting in like 10 million from overseas.
Yes.
So, like you said, all of it totaled about $37 million over the course of like 3 years.
It's so he's like it's
fucking psycho.
I mean,
this
that's
is fake money.
so much money.
I mean, it's not fake money.
but
It's real
just-
money. It's all from Facebook.
I'm like, was anybody at these like companies with the business accounts being like, hey, why is all our money going to like Dream? I mean, maybe
No,
it's
they all have names like this. Every
Yeah.
every fucking meta advertising company, like account, is like, I rise. I rise social marketing.
She rises.
She rises social marketing, or like, hype front. Beast,
Yeah, beast mode.
Yeah, whatever. So Adam started this off with Iris and another co-conspirator, someone named T.H. Now, this is most likely someone named Tassio Henrik, a.k.a. Tass, a.k.a. Big Boy, a.k.a. Pokeball. I'm just going to call him T.H. because we don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that's who
we're
this
almost
person is.
I
am.
We know it is him, but I think it's not proven.
So TH says that he started working with Adam on the Facebook scheme from account info that he got from a guy in Serbia. So this is all starting off real well. TH is an American, and so he relied on Adam for bank access. So he was like, he said that he was like, oh, I can't. We have all this money. You see this over and over again in the story, by the way. We have all this money coming in, all this crypto, but I can't access any of it. Either because I'm debanked because of my politics / mental illness, or because it's all in wallets that I don't have access to.
Here's a great TrueAnon tip for our listeners out there. If you're getting money, don't give it to someone.
Interesting.
And that goes for taxes too. But like, if you want, but if you're getting money, don't be like, oh, I don't know where to put my money. Can you have my money?
Yeah.
You're going to get betrayed.
Yeah.
You're going to get betrayed.
There's a lot of betrayals.
Find
in
a
this story.
place where you yourself can put that money.
Yes.
And unfortunately, it might get stolen there too because there's someone who's shady is going to take advantage of you. But just don't trust your partners in a crime like this. There's a reason everyone at the end of crime movies betrays each other.
So at some point, about a year later, TH says that he starts to struggle mentally. Those were his words. And he leaned on Adam for support. And Adam was like, damn, that sucks. You should check yourself into a hospital.
Why don't you take a week in a hospital, print out some Alec Monopoly drawings, put that on your fucking walls
Who
there.
the fuck is Alec Monopoly?
Oh.
Alec?
Alec Monopoly, there was an exhibition in Manhattan, a gallery.
Oh my God, why does he look like that?
This is the most popular artist in America, Liz, Alec Monopoly. And I guarantee you that there's one of the people that is in this story 100% has an Alec Monopoly original. This is the most popular form of art in America.
I will say that the expat now resides in Dubai professional scooter crypto guy that what you found
Yes.
is giving Alec Monopoly, but he's also an artist.
That guy's 100% got some Alec Monopoly originals. But we're getting too far away from TH.
I'm sorry, TH. Okay, so Adam's like, oh, damn, you're going through a hard time, mental illness. We need to take that seriously. We take that seriously as a society now. Get yourself to hospital. He says it in the British way. Get yourself
put
to
yourself
hospital.
in hospital.
And TH is like, thanks, bro, for looking out for me. And he does. And then Adam immediately takes control of and locks him out of all of his devices. No, this is a quote from the feds. In what TH now views as a ploy to take control of his Facebook advertising business, that's the scam, Adam provided evidence to the FBI to have TH arrested on charges related to a business TH operated involving Shopify.com. So I guess one of the scams that TH was running on the side was like he was working with a Philippines-based customer support agent that works at Shopify, right? This guy in the Philippines works for Shopify to get a bunch of merchant information.
Yeah.
And like scam a ton of Shopify businesses, including apparently Kylie Cosmetics. And so Adam turned him and all of the evidence from his laptop to the feds, got him arrested.
So wait, Adam is like, you're crazy. You need to go to the hospital right now.
Yeah, for mental illness.
I'll take care of the business. Just give me some of the passwords. He takes control of all the passwords. And when TH Tassilo starts making too big of a deal about it, he turns in Tassilo Heinrich to the feds for a different crime.
Yes.
Involving Shopify and Kylie Cosmetics.
Yes.
Wow.
Absolutely. Now, this will actually come to bite Adam in the ass later.
And this is, by the way, the first of what
is why I'm
appear to be
mentioning it.
endless double crosses
Yes.
throughout this story.
But Mr. Pokeball shall have his revenge, but we won't. I'm just going to, for now, we won't get into that. But at this point in the story, okay, Adam is now in full control, along with Iris, of the Facebook ad scam business and is using TH's laptop to keep the whole thing running.
But that's not to say that ZORT wasn't running itself. So ZORT wasn't just a shell company. It actually existed as a real-life scam and even had proprietary algorithms. There's an interesting look into it from a lawsuit filed by one Asim Khan out of Texas in Khan vs. ZORT.
We just really like saying Zort.
I mean,
can't
I could
stop.
not-
It sounds like something like a 70s SNL thing.
Khan versus Zort, that's like, isn't that like a Star Trek?
Yes, yeah. I got deep into ZORT yesterday. I was going crazy. There's ZORT memes, pro ZORT memes that were obviously made by ZORT.
Did you make them?
No, they were made by ZORT. I
Who's
sent you one.
I thought you made that.
No, that was from
thought you
ZORT.
made that.
No, I got that from ZORT.
Zort is not a thing.
I got it at ZORT.
Then who posted the meme? It's from the ZORT Instagram
I
account.
think Iris posted the meme.
Iris most likely posted the meme, but it has a picture of Michael Scott from the show The Office, and it says traders who find out about, he's looking sad. It says traders who find out about ZORT after losing in a trade. That's how you'll feel, like
That's
Michael
a great
Scott from The
meme.
Office. So I was like, damn, I guess people really were signing up for ZORT because Asim Khan got ripped off. And I want to tell you
Yeah.
right now, Asim, if you're listening to this,
Brother.
do not. It's hard to get out of this without kind of calling you a sucker.
Oh.
I know, but I'm like, I think a lot of like, and I don't even mean that in a cruel way because Khan, I actually genuinely feel bad for, but I think there's like a lot of suckers like this. And I think there's pretty much endless scams that are just happening like this every single day. I mean, this is like, there's so much of this that like reeks of the Andrew Tate, but like so much, it's just all Miami, all this parts of LA. Like it's gross. So this is from the lawsuit. Defendant ZORT, a powerful currency investment firm, and automated artificial intelligence trading software, and its alter ego Verg Incorporated, stole hundreds of thousands of dollars from plaintiff. That would be Asim Khan. ZORT CEO Adam Izza and ZORT CFO Iris Au now refuse to return the stolen money. In late 2022, plaintiff Asim Khan entered into an agreement with ZORT whereby he paid $277,000 to use ZORT's proprietary trading algorithms. Plaintiff then deposited an additional $300,000 in US dollar coin, USDC, into a ZORT-controlled wallet as an initial investment. ZORT was a fiduciary of plaintiff's investment, but plaintiff's investment money never belonged to ZORT. Plaintiff became dissatisfied with ZORT after the company refused to send him portfolio reports. On April 15th, 2021, plaintiff requested that ZORT return a portion of his initial investment. So he's like, ZORT, I need some money back. IZA then informed plaintiff that ZORT would not return any of his funds at that time. Later that September, plaintiff's suspicions increased. How are you not suspicious that whatever? Plaintiff's suspicions increased when he discovered that the individual who created ZORT's trading algorithm was no longer employed by the company. At that time, plaintiff demanded that ZORT return his entire investment along with any profits, to which IZA replied, "Are you fucking crazy?"
ZORT.
Dude, the filings in this case are fucking insane. Like, there's clear documentation of Khan actually sending this money. Like, they got Coinbase to, like, show everything. It's on chain, right? And the money, you'll be shocked to find out, isn't going to, like, a ZORT wallet. It's just going to Adam Izza.
Yeah.
And so, like, I guess the point here is that, like, the money's still your money, but ZORT's just, like, handling the trading for you. And so you can get your money out anytime.
Here's the thing, like, you should have asked, hey, can I see that you're a registered agent so I know you have a fiduciary responsibility? Like, you can't say he had a fiduciary responsibility. Like, this guy's a it's 24-year-old, like, fake crypto guy.
No, dude, he's not 24. He's 21 at this point.
Yeah.
And
he does
giving,
look older
20.
in his selfies, I will say.
I'm sorry, like, Mr. Khan, you just sent a guy, by the way, most of this happened on Telegram. You just sent a guy whose name on Telegram is ZORT Manager $550,000 fucking dollars.
And he, like, sent you back selfies of himself in a Lambo.
He does. In fact, there's a lot of, let's say, attachments in this lawsuit that show Lamborghinis. But actually, Izza retorts with, I've never heard of this guy in my life. I didn't trade any of his money. I've never spoken to him. I don't know who was speaking to him, and that's not my wallet. So, by the way, in this next part, this is a declaration of Adam Izza. In this next part, destination addresses means crypto wallet.
It is plaintiff's position that some or all of the above listed destination addresses are under one or both of defendant's possession, custody, or control. However, at no point have ZORT or I ever had any possession, custody, or control over these destination addresses whatsoever. Additionally, to my knowledge, at no point has anyone acting on my behalf or on behalf of ZORT, whether as an agent, representative, or otherwise, ever had any possession, custody, or control whatsoever over these destination addresses. Declaration of Adam Izza.
He gives a nearly identical declaration saying that he's never heard of any of these Telegram accounts, that phone number, which is his phone number, must be fake. Like, it's baldly just completely lying and saying he's never heard of any of these people. He doesn't have anything to do with it. However, Khan reproduces all of these Telegram messages from Adam Izza, including Izza sending him his full name and pictures of himself in a Lamborghini. Not only that, like I said, Coinbase provided the wallet, so they're like, yeah, this is registered to Adam Izza. And not only that, but he'd actually met up. So Khan had actually met up with Izza in LA, where Izza had met up with him while driving a white Lamborghini Urus, not a Toyota Urus, but a Lamborghini Urus, and had come, had grabbed.
The fuck is a Toyota Urus?
I don't know.
What are you talking about?
Urus. Isn't there like an Urus? Isn't that a car?
I'm not a
I
car
don't
guy.
think so. Toyota Prius?
Oh, Auris.
Auris?
Yeah. Never mind. The Auris.
Never heard of that.
Me neither.
But Izza actually picks up Khan from his hotel and takes him to his rooftop where they smoke cigars, and then he showed Khan his Birkin bags.
Which I'm assuming are irises.
Well, yeah, they are. Which are signed by Kylie and Kim.
Which, okay, so
You've seen the bags. You've seen the pictures.
there's pictures in the suit. The bags are not signed. The boxes are signed.
The boxes are signed.
But that makes no sense. Why would you have a box? Why would you have Kylie sign a box or Kim sign a box? So I think that's either that's fake. And they both have the same So it's 2 Birkins, one smaller than the other. I'm not a Birkin person, so I don't know the whole like centimeters and all the whole thing. One's palladium hardware, I do know that from memory, and one's gold. But they both have the same exact like twilly scarf around the handle, like the same print. And so I'm saying they're both fake. The box is fake. And the signatures on the boxes are faked as like part of it being this like funny thing that you buy fake on the internet through Telegram or WhatsApp.
I will say, like Telegram and some of the channels I'm in, you can buy designer goods.
Yeah, of
as
course, my
well.
friends.
Just like you can buy watches.
I know people who have.
You can buy watches on there.
I mean, my friends love a bag from WhatsApp.
Later, like also reproduced, there's like just a million text messages between Khan and Izza where Khan is like, dude, please can I have my money back? I feel really cheated. You signed a contract saying I could exit anytime, which he also reproduces. He's like, I have no money. You took all of my money. Now you're refusing to give it back. Izza is replying
It's
to
really
this.
sad.
It's really sad.
It's like, I feel really bad.
Is
even
it-
though, dude.
Yeah. And it's clear that Khan had like emailed other people connected to Zort and be like, please, I don't know, you guys
It's like
stole my money.
No one is connected to Zort. It's just Adam.
Yes. And well, because he emailed other addresses, Adam is like, you're trying to fuck me over my business. Are you fucking crazy? That's the Are You Fucking Crazy produced above. I will never give you your money back. You are trying to fuck me over.
Which is like not a sound argument, by
it's
the way.
not a sound argument. Izzy is just straight up ducking him and then eventually saying like, yeah, no, you can't have your money back. Khan is like, dude, I have to go back to working manual labor. I really need the money back. First, I'm sorry, Khan. You had $500,000 and you just gave it to a guy on Telegram. Don't do stuff like that. They eventually settle out of court, it seems. I actually ran over the documents with a lawyer friend of mine because I was like, oh, why was it dismissed with prejudice? It's because they settled out of court. Now, though, with everything that we know about what Adam Izza was getting up to with the LA Sheriff's Department, I'm wondering what that settlement might have looked like and if that settlement maybe involved a little bit of muscle.
So at some point in 2021, they do start washing a bunch of stolen crypto through ZORT coin. So
I'm heavily, by the way, leveraged on Zort coin.
I had to just bring up ZORT coin because I can't stop saying ZORT. ZORT. ZORT coin. ZORT. ZORT coin. ZORT.
Zort.
So they, a bunch of banks had flagged, at this point, I'm trying to remember, Dream, Rise, Zort, Verg. They were like transferring way too much money all at once and from like all to each other. And the banks were like, no, this is fraud.
You're
Like,
doing something
we're
here.
shutting you down. So in order to like move this like insane amounts of money, they went into this like shadow clearinghouses that exist for Bitcoin whales. Like there's a bunch of like OTC giant ones. The one they used was called Autonomy. I can't say it. Autonomy. Autonomy moved like 2.8 billion in Bitcoin for like criminal outfits in 2019 alone. So it's like basically a valet service for fraud. Zortcoin helped even more when they launched that. So they listed Zortcoin on KuCoin.
Oh.
And
they
washed,
listed Zort coin on KuCoin?
yeah. And then they washed large positions under the guise of like altcoin subscriptions, but there were zero real customers. They're all phantom accounts. They just created 1 billion phantom accounts, which you can do. And all of that is designed to simulate legit activity.
Yeah.
This is just another example of the layers of fake fraud bullshit that exists on the internet just to move like criminal money.
But Adam is having a fucking wonderful time. I mean, this guy is breaded up from Zort. He's got his beautiful, significantly older girlfriend who is now with access to money, can change the way she looks to look even, she goes from a 10 to a 20. But really probably around 40, I don't know. But they're having the times of their lives.
Yeah, he starts using Zort to pay for it, just like your classic crazy crypto lifestyle shit.
Alec Monopoly.
He probably bought a bunch of those. He got a Ferrari Spider, a Ferrari Pista, a Lambo Roadster, a Rolls Phantom.
I love those.
A Mercedes GLS 600, and then a little GT, maybe for his girl. About $1 million in cars alone. Then he starts renting out this Bel Air mansion for $200,000 a month.
Yes.
And it's like a psycho. It's psycho looking.
This was the mansion that you. So, just a little aside here. Liz and I were trying to figure out this like other people not connected criminally to this, but like that were connected to this and so that were friends
that
with
have been
Adam.
named in other.
in other documents.
Yeah.
And there was a professional scooter guy.
Yes.
Like a razor scooter professional.
Which is apparently a thing.
Wikipedia and everything. He's in Dubai. We figure out that he is the same one that is mentioned in this because I was watching scooter crypto guys mash up influencer videos and I found the one with this guy, blah, blah, blah. But Liz actually recognized him standing in one of his Instagram pictures in the entranceway in this house.
Yeah, in this Bel Air mansion. ZORT put down the deposit, which was $1.6 million. And they also got a beach house in Newport that was running ZORT $680K. So about 2.8 in real estate came from ZORT. And then they spent another $1 million on like what they call in the filings extravagant vacations.
Dubai, Miami.
Another probably the Maldives too.
Yeah, yeah.
Classic crypto destination. Another on jewelry, designer clothing, a bunch of this. All the spending in total came close to $10 million in 3 years or 2.5 years. He also got Chad leg lengthening surgery. Now, his height is not listed.
His height is not listed.
What would there's one photo of him where he's posing with a bunch of, spoiler alert, sheriffs who are his personal security. What would you say, or like sheriff or deputies, whatever. What would you say his height is?
It's tough.
Do you think that's pre or post surgery?
I mean, it's pre-surgery because
We don't know.
we don't know, but the surgery is still ongoing, Liz.
No, I know.
So, like, here's a picture of him sitting just next to another guy. He's here on the left.
Yeah, but sitting is tough.
You can't really tell. He doesn't seem like extraordinarily short from
I would
this.
call him slight.
I would call him slight of build a little bit. It's sort of hard to figure out exactly because when he's standing next to the sheriff's deputies, he kind of just like they're flanking him where it's like they kind of spread out from a V formation to him.
Yeah, they're posing.
They're posing, yes. And so it's a little hard to like exactly tell. I can't find the
a
picture.
master
of deception, height deception. But I'm guessing like maybe 5'8". Like he doesn't seem that short.
I think he's like 5'5".
The thing is though,
To do the Chad leg lengthening surgery, I think
Yes.
you can't be at a 5'8".
Liz, you and I both spent. Let's not pretend that we didn't spend a lot of time on the leg lengthening subreddits and looking at
Okay,
these people.
so-
Some of these people are 5'8", Liz.
I know, but I'm like, is it that bad?
I don't know. That's 6 inches taller than me, and so to me, 5'8" seems like a dream. You know, how's the air up there? How are the women
Up there.
up there? I'm sick of I'm sick of bringing a damn step stool to a date just so I can get a smooch on that at the end of the night. But I don't know. But the thing is, I have trouble putting my brain into like the head of somebody who's like really like fucked up and self-conscious about their height.
Yeah.
And so, I'm sorry if that is you listening to this. I'll tell you right now, if you just developed a personality,
Don't
I'm
say
sure
that.
you have a great one. But if you further develop your personality, you're fine. Also, when you're short and you get really buff, it actually makes you look shorter. I will say that. I'm sorry. When you see like a 5'3" guy who's jacked, it's like,
Yeah.
I can tell
They
you're
look like
5'3".
little bulldogs.
Yeah, I know. You're even more 5'3".
And he's
than-
bald also.
They're all bald because, you know,
And
they're
they're
taking a
cops.
test. What?
And they're cops.
And there are also a lot of police officers that do fit this exact description. I don't know, but I do know that on the on the leg lengthening subreddit, there are a lot of people whose height you would be like, you're breaking your legs for this?
It does remind me of, I remember, I think I've referenced this before, but the True Life, I got plastic surgery that came out in whatever, the 90s or whatever it was, during the True Life MTV thing. There was a guy who got calf implants.
Calf implants. Of
Yes.
course, classic.
Classic.
Dude, I
and it
don't
was
really
so confusing because you were like, why is this the thing that you are obsessed with? But, everyone has the, they have their object that they focus on. They make it their thing, which is obviously just them, it's not real. It's, a lot of displaced whatever. But
Yep.
to get calf implant, it makes no sense. And I feel
To
like
get bigger
sometimes
calves?
yes. And he was like, once I get this, I'll be perfect. I mean, it's just so classic, right?
Hard to build calves,
Needs
though.
to go to hospital, like TH. But for height, I'm like, I don't know. It's such a, so this is, if you guys don't know, this is how it works. Leg length, which is not what's called, leg lengthening surgery, which is like very controversial. And there's
Yeah.
like very few
I want to get
surgeons-
it. Liz is like, don't get it. People will think you're weird. It'll hurt the show.
There's only a few surgeons that really specialize in it, let alone like do it. And everyone on the subreddits, which is either subreddit r short or subreddit leg lengthening, I think.
I think it is, yeah.
I think they got rid of some of the looks maxing ones.
There are references to them, and I couldn't find them. So yeah.
But everyone's like, don't go to Turkey and go the cheap way.
Yeah, everyone was really like, no Turkey, no Vietnam.
Yes.
No, and like the people who are suggesting those are downvoted.
Yeah. Vietnam. Yeah, that's right. That's like the movie, right? Mm-hmm. What was the...
It's crazy because that seems like the kind of shit.
Plastic. What was it called?
Amelia Perez.
Elena
I will
Velez.
say it does seem like in like a John Wayne, like if John Wayne made a movie of like being a POW
Really
for the
like to
Viet
know.
Cong, it does seem like they would do like, we will make you even taller, American, and like put in fucking shit into his legs.
Penis to vagina.
Yes.
But they're
So what
like,
they
don't
do-
go. Yeah.
What they do is they literally break your leg.
Do they break they do the femur and the like
No, you
tibia?
can do and or, but usually it's or.
Yeah, it's usually femur or tibia, I think.
Yes. If you do both, that's what they call double lengthening and
Yeah.
is like even more brutal.
crazy.
Yeah.
But I think he just got the single because his lawyer did say he paid $65,000. Which I was like, damn, that's cheap.
If you give me $65,000, I'll go an inch shorter.
If you give me $65,000, I'll break your legs.
Easy.
Okay, so they break your legs and then they insert a metal rod or like a metal nail in, and then they kind of over the course of a year, like twist this screw that like lengthens it slowly, which is apparently very painful.
It's very, like, people even who are happy with their surgery, because I read some of those, I mean, you're never going to say you're unhappy with surgery because you just paid $500,000 to be like an inch and a half taller.
$500,000?
$650,000?
No, 65,000.
65. Okay, whatever. Over $100,000 is what I meant to say. Okay, I was like, that does seem high. I'm like, maybe they gave him like a
house.
like 6 inches taller or something. Do they charge by the inch? Pause. But I will say, like, everyone's reporting like, yeah, I liked it. You know, some
Well,
people
yeah.
but you just paid a lot.
Well, a lot of people are definitely like, no regretsies.
No regretsies, and there's a lot of threads being like, how do I hide this? Because for my family and friends.
Yeah, which
You
is, I'm
know?
like, your mom's gonna know that you're taller. Like, what?
Sorry. Just,
Your mom's gonna be like, oh, did you get your hair cut?
it
She's gonna be
doesn't-
like, wait, you fucking you paid over $500,000 / $100,000 to have some guy in Vegas break your legs, my baby's legs.
Mom, get out of my room. Those are
I
just
will
my
just
screws.
say, I literally just went to a wedding of a guy who was like 6 inches taller or shorter than the person he was marrying.
And
I'm saying, like, love exists. Love is love.
I don't think this is about love. This is about obsession and narcissism
That's a great
and
movie
deep
review.
Same thing,
childhood
like
wounds.
Oh, you're short. You'll never dunk. But you can dunk.
Short guys can dunk.
White men too, but they don't like us saying that anymore. But so like they basically they break your legs.
Yes.
They put a screw in, and they kind of just like slowly tighten the screw to increase the length of your fucking leg.
Yes, which is very painful. Now, Adam was arrested with the rods still in his legs.
Pause
But
on
they
that.
say that the rods are there for a year, so we don't know exactly when he had the surgery. His lawyer told the judge that it was like causing, because he didn't have like the correct medical attention with these rods in his legs, it was causing him to have painful boils. Which Why?
Well, because it's an
Boils.
open wounds while it's healing
So
for the entire time.
the boil is coming from the
Well, I
wound?
don't know about what's the
Dude, I don't know if I've really seen a boil
It's
in
like an
real life.
infection. You can
Ah!
get
I
infected.
thought a boil was a big
Oh,
bump. Did you Google
it's
boil?
like yeah, dude. I wrote boil on legs. It's oh my god.
Yeah, I'm not looking at that.
It's like a evil pimple.
Yeah, boils an infected hair follicle.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know why he would be getting.
Well, because it's like it can't heal while you're
Right.
turning the screw, so you're like very prone to infection.
He was asking, and they approved, I guess, or the marshals agreed to like fly him to Las Vegas to have his doctor. Stop looking up boils.
Okay, I closed it.
Oh, you're looking at boils too?
Yes,
That's crazy.
the really big pictures.
Yeah, don't do that. But they approved for him to go to Vegas to get medical attention. He went to Dr. Kevin Depapershad.
Depo-Provera.
Depapershad, yeah. Dr. Kevin,
Debbie Parshad.
yes, who is mentioned a bunch on the subreddits, I will say.
Yeah, he seems to be a reputable guy. I mean, if you want to listen, listeners, just quick ad break here. Dr. Kevin changed my life. I was going around and I was like, uppies, almost 100% of the time. I'm telling you, I've been banned from Hinge. Because I was just like, please pick me up. I don't mean in a car. I was like, women were putting me in diapers
You
consistently.
couldn't stop wearing those kiss boots.
I couldn't stop wearing the kiss boots. And once I got off the stage and the kiss boots were doffed,
You were like, kiss boots, stay on.
the kiss boots stay on during the
Everything.
45 seconds of sex that we have. The kiss
Not
boots
just that.
stay everything.
Just mass.
Mass. I do go to mass in kiss boots, and it sucks because with the, my torso is about a foot long. My head, obviously, we know, is short. My arms, because of genetic stuff, is really short, and so I've just got about 3 or 4 feet of kiss boot behind me while I'm praying. I can't fit in the pews. I have to do the hallway. It's just there's a long kiss boot. All these buckles scraping against the thing. The priest is like, "You just became Catholic. You're our best yet." But this has got to go. But if I take the kiss boots off, then there's no kiss on face from me, from the females. No, but this shit's. I mean, he is.
Or from the
What's his shit?
Monsignor.
His thing is called the Limb Plastex Institute.
Yes, the Limb Plastex Institute.
It's like Latinx.
So it's funny, I was looking at it, and what did make me feel better about Dr. Kevin and about the whole thing is that they're all like actually like bone surgeons. They're not plastic
Pause
surgeons.
on that.
You know what I mean? That they're coming into this. And you sent me a video, which was kind of an infomercial.
It was definitely an infomercial. That's like half of TV. He was on the Doctors.
What is that?
I think I don't know. I've seen it referenced like
Is
in
that a real
articles here.
thing?
I don't know why. It's like crazy because I can't remember 90% of the things that happen to me in my life just because of my brain I'm stupid.
Yeah.
But
Well, you're
that's
all
the
in
first
those
time you agree
boots.
with that. Usually you're like, you're not stupid. So interesting. I will remember that. But I can't remember a lot of shit, like maybe people's birthdays all the time, although I do remember both of your birthdays now.
Thanks to
When
Google
things
Calendar.
are happening and it's on my calendar. Yes, okay. So I have it an 8. It's on my calendar. Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm disabled. But I do remember for some reason just reading about the show here and there and like random ass things. I think it's like an infomercial where some doctors give you bad medical advice. It's like
They had like you. So you sent me an episode of Doctors where they had people who had the surgery on that were like vouching for the surgery.
with Dr. Kevin Depershad with them.
Yes, Dr. Kevin seemed fine.
I would trust him to put a screw
I
in my
would
leg
not
and
let
tighten
him
it.
touch your fucking legs.
These things. I got pretty good legs.
I would.
Have you seen me
you
without pants on?
It's like
I
kind
have
of
pretty.
shocking.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
They're pretty good legs.
I've talked to people about it.
Yeah, I got good legs.
You do.
No comment.
Pause on no comment.
No, I would not let Dr. Kevin near you. But
Thank you.
I will say this. The guy who was giving his testimony where he was like, this changed my life, looked fucking crazy.
Craziest looking people I've ever seen in my life.
His face, like, I'll say this wasn't his first go round at the old surgeons.
Brother, you do not need to you don't want to get taller because then you're closer to eye level with people and they can see your crazy looking fucked up face.
And it's not crazy by the hand of God. It's crazy by the hand of many nurse practitioners because there's so much shit in that man's face. that I was trying to explain. It was like he had a little bit of cat eye or fox eye surgery done, plus like an insane amount of probably implants and not filler
I would
to
say
balance out something. But it's like his eyes, he had like little pinhole eyes with like giant cheeks.
Do you know who Ollie London is?
Yes, of course.
He kind of
we
looked like
talked about him on the show.
I love Ollie London. He kind of looked like country bumpkin Ollie London.
Yeah, it was like Ollie London in a production of The Notebook.
Yes. This is why she's the she-goat. So Adam has these screws in his legs as we speak. I didn't read, they did let him go to Vegas?
It wasn't, I don't know if it was confirmed, but will you read this from some of the reporting in LA Magazine just so that we can, end this on a little bit of a note?
This is a very unusual procedure, as the court knows, is his attorney Joseph Sadat.
This is a crazy name for your lawyer, by the way.
Another double crosser. Told U.S. District Court Judge Percy Anderson in a recent hearing. The acting U.S. Marshal here in Los Angeles has said that they will provide the transportation, they'll provide the housing, and they will do it under secured circumstances. I'm telling you this, if I'm a U.S. Marshal, I'm like, we got to take this kid. I got to see this. I got to see this.
Well, we don't know, but these U.S. Marshals might have been on his payroll.
Well, at least one of the person who was working with them was. Sadat told the court that Isa may need to stay in Las Vegas for rehabilitation, saying there's still questions as to how ambulatory he's going to be, his needs for a wheelchair and whatnot after the surgery. And so those are questions that they're still engaged in with the surgeon. The judge was not immediately convinced that Isa, who is facing decades in prison and stashed away untold millions in cryptocurrency, should travel even with U.S. Marshals escorting him, and instead asked if the surgeon, Dr. Kevin Debeparshad, whose catchphrase is "step into a taller tomorrow," could instead travel to L.A., saying that would appear to be safer from a safety perspective. Oh, that would appear to be safer from a safety perspective?
Step into a taller tomorrow. Wow. God bless the USA. So we mentioned this, but he wasn't just spending his money on leg lengthening procedures.
Legs, Louboutins, Birkins, Ferrari, Lamborghini.
He also spent a lot of money on bribes, specifically to cops.
Specifically to the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. One of the most pristine. The way this man has besmirched the good name of the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department is his worst crime to me.
It's true. So 3 unnamed deputies make their way into the FBI's initial complaint. But it is like, they mentioned that there's like 10s, 20s, 50 maybe that were involved in this.
I think there's a bunch of people that couldn't get who were maybe subcontracted enough to get out of any indictments here. And I'm sure one of the main deputies involved in this took a plea deal, which maybe means that he doesn't necessarily have to give up more information on the people that he did crimes with. And I think it's probably within the interests of some of the parties involved here to keep this as minimal as possible. I'm just going to be real. I think there's probably on several levels here a cover-up of how bad this actually is. And I think this is happening. This is just one instance of this happening, and it's happening all across LA.
Absolutely.
So Deputy 1.
Fabricated warrants, leaked a bunch of DMV data, tracked phones under false pretenses, and orchestrated armed raids, all on behalf of Adam.
Yeah, and we shouldn't say just on behalf of Adam. With the full legal backing of the LA Sheriff's Departments, we're talking warrants for surveillance. We're talking warrants for fucking raids. We're talking pulling people over on request. It is fucking insane.
Yeah, in return, Adam is paid this Deputy 1, for $475,000 over 2 years. Now, all of the bribes were washed through ZORT, because of course they were. So technically ZORT is who paid the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. Now, we've mentioned this character at the top of the show. We're going to return to him much more in our next episode.
This we didn't even mention at the top of the show. We just read from one of his amazing scenes.
No, we mentioned him as EZ.
And
I will continue to. So one of Adam's co-conspirators, EZ, he, at this point in our story, he's gonna, he's a co-conspirator. He's kind of a liability for Adam, right? So Adam sicks Deputy 1 on EZ.
Now, you say liability. There's multiple allegations of a double cross here. Everyone's double crossing everybody,
Yes.
including the rare triple cross from another person worth mentioning in the next episode, not today, but involved in the EZ Adam Izza
Yes.
thing.
So Deputy 1, just to like give you an example, right? So he inserts EZ's phone number into a random, like a totally random, like plucked out of the database weapons case warrant, just unrelated to anybody involved. He inserts his phone number into the case warrant in order to track his location in real time, like to get authorization to do so. Like real life judges signed off on all of this.
Yes.
Cops ran on it.
Yes.
Like not on in terms of like off duty LASD cops, like on duty cops ran with it because they had a warrant to do so.
Adam Izza paid these guys to basically be at his beck and call, again, with full legal backing. You're
Yeah.
right. Judges are signing off on warrants here.
Yeah. So Adam is like watching the dots move on the map as he's running his own operation through the LASD.
And this guy is, by the way, in 2021, he's like, what, 20? 21?
It's fucking crazy. This is like a Harmony Korine movie anyway. Deputy 2, he brought his brother into the mix. So it's not even clear that his brother was like even related to any of or even a
I don't think his
deputy.
brother was a deputy. No, I think his brother was just like
A brother. His brother.
Yeah. Yeah, his brother.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean.
I know, but when I say that, people are sometimes,
No, it's a brother.
yes, a brother. Yes, a brother
Stop.
of the deputy.
Anyway, the brother and the deputy have him like carry out armed robberies on Adam's behalf. They sent in a squad of like masked men to steal a bunch of laptops to get passwords. The brother got $11,000 for this.
Not that much.
Deputy 2 got $19,000 for this. And that's because all of this was being run through Deputy 1. So do you see what's happening here?
Yes. So it's crazy. It is like I will say this. Deputy 1 gets way more of the money than anyone else. He like subcontracts a bunch of this shit.
Yeah.
And like these, I'm telling you, like, I'm sorry. If you were in a squad of masked men and you're robbing a bunch of people at gunpoint, you could go to prison for a very long time. $11,000. You know? I get it that like
But I think they probably didn't know how much money was being.
actual money was coming in with this.
They were
Yeah.
probably like, damn, that's great. Not knowing that their buddy was getting $250,000 a year or whatever. Deputy 3, now he got $72,000. And it's unclear exactly what he was doing. He might have just been like in the background pulling like queries or showing up when needed. But there were over 140 calls between him and Adam directly. So he had to be some kind of like main guy on retainer. Anyway, so in one of these instances, one of Adam's victims is only identified as RC.
Racial chick.
RC was an event planner that worked with Adam in LA. Like he would help organize a bunch of parties at the Bel Air mansion. And after some dispute over payment for services rendered, what a surprise, I'm assuming Adam didn't pay him, RC like threatened to expose Adam for all his like shady dealings. So in response, Adam reached out to the LASD and got Deputy 1 to plant drugs on him and like arrange a bunch of false arrests, all totally fabricated.
Is this the one? There's one of these cases, I can't remember which it was, where Adam actually is present at the scene of the bust in like a car. Pause on that. And in a car nearby, and it's like taking pictures and sending it to the dude. Pause on that.
Yeah. Like there was one where like Adam would have like parties. He would always have all these big parties at the Bel Air mansion. And he would have them all work security, like private security.
The sheriffs.
Yes. But instead of just like being normal security, what they would do is they would like flash their badges and then shake down guests. So Adam would invite people over and like One victim was forced at gunpoint to unlock his phone so Adam could loot his account in the middle of a party and transferred like $25,000 to his like crypto wallet.
Crazy.
With the fucking LA Sheriff's Department there flashing their badges and being like, this is a shakedown.
Yeah.
That's so insane.
Adam would just like give these guys basically like missions. Be like, you got to pull this guy over. You got to plant drugs on this guy. You got to Adam at one point I think goes with a guy to buy drugs, leaves him in the guy's car, and then calls the cops on it. It's crazy.
It's crazy. And so like, you know, when any of like Adam's victims were slow to pay up, they would just either get stopped, searched, arrested, or raided. And all of it on paper, totally legal in the Trump way, totally legal. There were some pretty funny text messages in the filings. You were talking about all of the like photos and stuff. There was like at one point Adam texted, "Damn, my guy actually filed the warrant. That's some serious shit to do for someone. Risking a 24-year career. I pay him $280K a month for complete resources. They're active duty." Bro. Now, the big main cop you mentioned that pled out. We don't know if this is Deputy 1 who's named. Some of the details don't totally match up, but I assume it is.
I also assume it is, yeah.
Eric Chase Saavedra.
So he met Adam back in 2021. There were some other Los Angeles sheriff deputies who were working at one of Adam's parties and mentioned to Eric that this rich crypto kid was looking for personal security, but like on retainer, right? So like basically permanent security. I mean, it's so in common with like the death row stuff from the fucking 90s that it's crazy. And like with the Ramparts division shit. So Saavedra starts Saavedra and Associates the same month that he meets with Adam to like launder the money and, you know, work the operation.
Kind of Zort-like.
It's laundered through Zort.
Or Verg.
Well, I think Zort and Verg are, you know, it's one
Would
without
you be
the
Zort?
other.
Are you Zort and I'm Verg, or is it the other way?
I feel like I'm more of a Verg, you're more of a Zort. You're a little bit of a dream. So he's like, listen, I can start the security company and we'll basically do whatever you want.
Yeah, he provided Adam with 2 security guards, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Which I will say Adam needs because he is just literally constantly ripping off and robbing people.
That's right. I mean, I keep forgetting that he keeps robbing like everybody he meets because I'm like, dude, this seems excessive. But I guess like you actually do need to protect yourself because everyone wants their money back from you. He recruited approximately 20 to 25 deputies, as well as a former deputy and the brother to work round-the-clock shifts. So Adam was throwing him $100K a month for work, not the $280 that he bragged about, but $100K a month for work. You know it came from Zort.
Of course, all paid out of Zort's accounts.
You know first stop is Zort. And then in turn, Eric would pay his deputies $750 a shift.
But he was, I mean, listen, these are criminals we're talking about here. So I think he was probably taking a little something maybe off the top. I'm sure there was some shady dealings even within the shady dealing.
Dude, no, he was making $100,000 a month and he was only giving them $750 a shift.
I know, but I think that like they were also getting paid for some other shit. I don't know. There's like some shit going on.
Yeah, you're right. So as part of the deal that Eric, the cop or sheriff, I keep doing that, whatever, that the deal, he had to forfeit a bunch of stuff that he bought from the money he made from Adam. And I'm sorry, I have to read this list because it's so fucking funny. This is including but not limited to. Let's see if I can do this. 5 Louis Vuitton wallets, 32 Louis Vuitton bags, 1 Louis Vuitton fanny pack, 1 Goyard tote, 2 Bottega Veneta bags, 8 Gucci bags, 1 YSL bag, 1 Celine or Chloe bag. LOL, they don't know which is which. 1 Gucci wallet, 2 pairs of Hermes sandals, 1 Valentino bag, 27 pairs of Gucci shoes, 5 pairs of Louis Vuitton shoes, 2 pairs of Chanel shoes, 1 pair of Bottega heels, 4 pairs of Prada shoes, 2 pairs of YSL shoes, 5 pairs of Louis Vuitton heels, 3 pairs of Valentino shoes, 3 Louis Vuitton sunglasses, 1 pair of Gucci sunglasses, 1 Chanel sunglasses, 1 Chanel bag, and a money counting machine.
I just have, that was very good. You got them all. But I just have one question. Why does this male cop have so many Bottega Veneta bags.
That's love, baby.
It's for the old lady.
Obvious.
It's got to be for the old lady.
No, he was wearing the heels.
27 pairs of Gucci shoes.
Babe,
I don't know because
he was doing all of this for love.
I will say some of the guys that I looked at, including unfortunately one person who did kill his girlfriend. I was looking at his Twitter account. Like, there's all these pictures of him in like shiny shoes with rhinestones on them, and I was like, oh, maybe it's like, I don't know, maybe crypto guys, like, if you get to a high enough level of money making and luxury clothing buying, you're kind of wearing women's shoes sometimes.
Yeah, sure. You got your kiss boots on.
It's like the Friday Night Lights guy situation.
I do. I want to mention, because I looked it up. All their salary information is public, and he was making, as of 2022, with benefits, $275,000 a year.
Now, I want to actually even drill down on that further. I don't know how it works in the LA Sheriff's Department, but this is recently kind of a scandal in San Francisco. Overtime on cops is fucking insane. And in San Francisco, at least, do you know that they can like call out sick, but still get paid double time if they work a shift of private security, but they're kind of on call for anything that happens in that neighborhood?
So they were getting overtime for this, most likely.
I mean, I again, I don't know how it works in LA, but I do know that cops are like fucking overtime pigs.
Yeah.
And a lot of times what they do is they'll go work for like, they'll just go be a criminal for like a shift. Literally, like in this case, like they'll just go and work as a criminal and they'll be getting paid time and a half their fucking normal. And then the guy who replaces them, like on their shift, will also get paid time and a half. I mean, these things are just fucking... It's ridiculous. Like, cops get paid so much money.
That's why they got a strong union.
Strong union.
Union strong there. Now, Saavedra was assigned to LASD's Operation Safe Streets Bureau. Some people may be familiar with this program. In general, LASD, like you mentioned, their pristine reputation, they are infamous for running what is called deputy gangs.
Yes. But like really are literally just actual criminal gangs.
Yeah, you just call them deputy gangs because they're deputies.
Yeah, because they're deputies, yeah.
But it's just a
it's
gang.
like a prison gang is a gang, I guess, for prisoners, yeah.
Yeah. It's no, it's just gangs. They're gangs. And there were a lot out of the Lakewood station, which is where Saavedra worked. They all had tattoos, they have hand signals, they do gang rituals, they do it all. In early 2023, internal investigators learned that a group of Lakewood deputies shared an identical tattoo, which is a black spade. Uh-oh. Brace is showing me his middle finger.
I have one tattooed on my middle finger.
And the number 13. Now, you don't have that.
No.
Because you're
That's
not
too
rockabilly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Look at 13. Now, station supervisors, this is what they did when they were investigating it, which is so
amazing.
fucking funny.
I read the OIG report, or part of the OIG report. It's
so funny. So they were like, okay, well, we're going to just distribute a survey to a bunch of deputies, and we're going to ask them, like, does this tattoo mean anything? And surprise, surprise, every deputy is like, no, that doesn't mean anything.
It's like a symbol of station pride.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, that's actually what they said. They said they claimed it stood for power, respect, honor, faithfulness, and love.
Yeah, it's cool. The sheriff down there has a tattoo that stands for power, respect, honor, faithfulness, and love. I mean, it's just it's kind of amazing.
In a memo, lieutenant concluded they were like, okay, no evidence that there's any deputy gangs here. You know, Lakewood is just a positive and inclusive place. It's like a family down there, but not like a gang family, like a
cool
cool,
family.
powerful, respectful, loving family. All of this was actually like remained secret, that there was even an investigation until the Inspector General exposed it in a report on LASD's failures to curb like any gang activity, and that was released in 2024. Now, you said the OIG, it was like an internal report, right? The OIG, they called this superficial probe inadequate. It failed to even ask any basic questions. Very obvious. I mean, I could have just said that. There was a ton of renewed attention on this, right? Obviously, when Saavedra pled out, because it turns out that he had a tattoo on his ankle. And he only received it after, and this is like from this is from the plea deal. He received it only after a panel of already tattooed Lakewood deputies voted to approve him getting it. He was identified as being the 55th person to get the tattoo.
Wow. I mean, it's just like, it's so like this stuff. The LA gang shit, the LA deputy gang shit is some of like, and it's been reported. People know about it. I mean, I think probably a lot of people listening to the show know about it, but like, it is so fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And like how endemic the corruption is that like, I genuinely am like, you should not only like fire literally every sheriff, but like arrest 99% of them.
Yeah, and then burn it to the ground and salt the earth.
Yeah. No more sheriffs.
I mean, the allegations, they go back decades, at least 5 decades. There was, it's always this cycle that you can like track, right? There's like a scandal and then, reform efforts, and then it kind of goes away. And then it's like, another scandal, and then like bullshit reform efforts, and it goes away, right? There's gangs like, there's the Little Devils that were in the East LA station. They were like one of the first in the 70s that were identified. They had like devil horn hand sign. Century Station had the Regulators. Lenox Station had the Grim Reapers.
Oh.
The Jump Out Boys were from an anti-gang unit. The 3,000 Boys were a group in the county jail. I mean, there's like so many more. We're not going to name all of them, but they all have the same common traits, right? It's matching tattoos. There's an internal hierarchy. There's a code of silence. The executioners were from the Compton station, and I think people might be familiar with that. That was a big story that came out. They were identified by tattoos of a skull with a Nazi helmet and an AK-47.
East meets West.
There was a whistleblower that came out in 2020 that alleged the executioners controlled like all of station management, and the deputies would have to earn their tattoos by doing a bunch of shit like shootings.
Like, I can't remember if it was them who did it or not, but like, remember when LA sheriffs just like executed that security guard?
Yes.
That was part of all of this.
Yes.
Like, I'm like, I don't know how to, again, I'm sure a lot of people listening to this know about it, but it's so fucking mind blowing that like, law enforcement in LA, like half of them are in fucking gangs, and like their initiation rituals are like some shit you read from a Facebook post.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like go around, murder somebody, and then you guess what? You're like more accepted.
And then you get
into,
the
like,
tattoo.
and then you get the tattoo, and then guess what? Maybe you can be fucking station chief someday.
And then maybe someday you get to run private security for a fucking 24-year-old crypto millionaire.
And by the way, this shit like went to the literal fucking top. Like
Yes.
Alex Villanueva, like the LA sheriff, I think until 2022, was like one of these guys. And I'm
Yes.
sure this shit, like it's at all levels here. It's just like a giant criminal organization that I'm just like, how is, it's
There was
insane.
one story or one instance where one deputy actually shot another deputy in the tattoo accidentally as a way to like try to destroy proof of membership.
Amazing.
What the fuck, dude? Now, there's a great investigation. It's like 10-part or something investigation by Cerise Castle. It's called a Tradition of Violence. We can link to it in the show notes. And it like goes through and documents like 18 different deputy gangs that were historically active. And when that investigation came out, it led to the legislature passing a bunch of new anti-gang laws, trying to pressure reform, da-da-da-da-da-da. But I mean, a lot of it is like that same cycle. You know?
Yeah, they just like I mean, it's so many sheriffs that like you can't clean it up because they
Right.
still exist and they still exist. Like they are the people who are supposed to bust each other.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And in a lot of ways, this like Adam Izza story is getting folded into that like long history.
Absolutely, it is. But to end this episode off, though, and to sort of tease the next one, we need to go all the way back to 2018. So one of the questions that we were asking ourselves during all this is like, how exactly did Adam get caught?
So, from what I understand, we're still piecing this all together. But from what I understand, the FBI started looking into Adam after EZ, his old pal, filed a complaint after an attempted home invasion back in March of 2022. In fact, EZ sent Adam a warning with an anonymous text.
Well, we don't know it's from EZ, but I believe it's alleged by Adam Izza's girlfriend, Iris Au, in a lawsuit against EZ that this text came from EZ.
To be fair, it did come from just a $sign.
That was the name on Telegram that sent it. Yes.
Time is up. Remember, every time something bad happened, and remember you did it to yourself. Itza, when you and your whole family are in ruin, and in a few months, think of this. Think of how you would have solved it. Oh, I forgot to mention how the FBI will be thankful for all the info about you that I am giving. When you're live,
It sounds like I'm doing an accent here, but I mean, I am, but he writes,
when your life is in total disaster and ruins in a few months or half year, and you think that things are not at bottom, remember, FBI will pick you up someday soon. You are a stupid fake gangster that underestimates situations and did not know when to pay up to avoid all these troubles. A real gangster would have done differently. Let it begin.
I like the, anywhere between 3 to 6 months.
anyway, but you're going to go down.
But just in that time
It was
frame.
a little longer than that, but it did happen eventually. It is, again, tough to piece together exactly when and how Adam kind of got into the ZORT-based lifestyle that he was living.
I mean, we mentioned Iris incorporates ZORT, and then Adam reincorporates it a few years apart. But whose idea was it, and when did it come together? These are questions that we have. What we do know is that a bunch of characters involved in this story all sat down at the dinner table in Hollywood, 2018. But things don't go as planned. Or do they?
Scene, 25 degrees, a greasy cheeseburger restaurant in the Roosevelt Hotel in Hollywood, California.
So this is September 1st, 2018, though in later reporting, as we will talk about next episode, it's possibly September 4th.
Well, who knows,
I'm just saying.
What are they,
Adam Izza, along with his good friend EZ, arrange a dinner to discuss crypto investing opportunities with a man named Troy Woody, who brings along his good friend Eric Taylor.
So right here we've got Adam Izza, EZ, Troy, Woody, and Eric Taylor.
Yes. They have, no, I'm assuming, obviously, some burgers, some fries, maybe an IPA or two. It's 2018 after all. And a few hours after dinner ends, at about 1:45 in the morning, Troy and Eric are back in their Hollywood apartment with Troy's girlfriend, Michelle.
Eric actually gets a text message from EZ to come down to the lobby. He's like, oh, yeah, come down here. He goes down and finds EZ there with Adam.
The two guys jump Eric and stuff pills in his mouth. Do you think that's true?
It sounds a little much.
I think that maybe they were on drugs and he's saying, oh, you put them in my mouth.
He gave me a bunch of ecstasy.
Yeah. Stuff pills in his mouth and handcuff him. They start like wailing on him and asking him, where's your computer? Where's your laptop?
computer? Sorry, I'm doing EZ's accent.
They get his keys and like the location of his devices and run upstairs. Now, Adam apparently masked up, like in a ski mask.
He puts a ski mask on.
He enters the apartment brandishing a 9mm semi-automatic. And he's like, I'm here with the FBI, and like flashes a badge.
Everybody in the apartment, which is like Troy Woody and his girlfriend, are like, Troy's like, I just had dinner. You're Adam Izza. Like,
Yeah.
I know you're wearing a mask. It's just you're the same guy. I just saw
They
3
immediately
hours
recognize
ago.
him.
You're Adam Izza.
Yeah, we literally just had burgers down the street.
He actually even shows, this is what Woody claims. He shows Troy Woody, like, I've got bullets in the mag, which is so funny.
Yeah.
Look, from what I can understand, he seemingly ejects the magazine from the gun and is like, look, there's bullets in it, and then puts it back in.
Yeah. He assaults Troy, demands he hand over his Rolex and his wallet, and then just like handcuffs him, like his hands and his legs, he says, I guess, kind of like, how? I mean, like, just like
What do you
that.
mean,
Like,
how?
do you think it's like
Handcuffs?
this or like behind the back?
So I learned this from my time so far in the Catholic Church. There's a sexual type of tying someone up called shibaru, or some shit like that.
What?
I don't know. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's like Japanese style.
Japanese style. I learned it in the Nagasaki. And but no, I'm assuming they just did it in front of him, and then what do you mean? Yeah,
I don't know.
They probably handcuffed him behind him because in front of him you can still manipulate stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, then Adam steals the clothes Troy was wearing that night to dinner.
Which is like I looked it up. It's from some like German designer.
Yeah. I don't know. This is like a big sticking point. But anyway, he starts looking like around the apartment for all the devices. Troy's like, I know it's you, Adam. And Adam points the gun at him and then like pulls the trigger, but it doesn't go off.
So maybe he forgot to rack around in there?
I don't know. But Adam rushes out of the apartment with 3 laptops and 5 smartphones containing about $285 million worth of Bitcoin. This is very important.
What follows is a story that makes what we've just talked about today look like nothing. It is a story about a laptop belonging to someone that becomes the focus of an intense battle involving Los Angeles Sheriff Department deputies, the questioning of a certain person's movie roles, threats to children, an LA private eye who triple crosses, double crosses, or maybe doesn't cross at all. There are double crosses. There are triple crosses. I mean,
we got to talk about it all. We got to talk about EZ. We got to talk about Iris. We got to talk about Dubai. There's hackers involved. Actually, famous hackers are involved in this story. The TV show Love Island is like an important part. And also, we got to talk about Michelle. We mentioned her. She was in the apartment, right? When the robbery went down, Troy's girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
How she ends up stuffed in a box, wrapped in plastic wrap and duct tape at the bottom of a river in the Philippines.
Are you on Instagram liking girls? I cannot be with a man like you if you are.
I was texting my sister, happy birthday. What's going on?
You can't text other women without my permission. You need to venerate me like a goddess and only me!
It was just my sister. Did you lose your mind? I never venerated a woman like a god in my life, and I'm not gonna start right now.
Fuck you! You are a fucking loser! With all your secrets! You are wasting my time! You need to tell me everything! How much money do you have? Where do you keep your money?
It's none of your business. And we're not even married. And even if, it was still none of your fucking business. I pay for everything. I provide. What do you want?
Leave your job and screw your work trips. I want you with me 24/7.
Shut up! You need to give me fucking respect and stop fucking acting like a fucking abusive and violent woman. Can you just go back to be nice and sweet, like when we first met?
Fuck you and fuck the Navy. I'm going to tell the terrorists where your family is.
now I got to tell you, part 2 of this is definitely going to be paywalled so it doesn't get DMCA'd. DCMA'd?
I don't know which it is.
DMCA'd, but one of those.
Yeah, this guy that we mentioned, Easy, has a habit of employing a billion crawlers for any kind of mention of his name. And so we're gonna maybe play a little bit of, we're gonna try to outwit the bots.
I will say
And
this.
do our own kind of
One of the,
thing.
I will say this is a top 10, maybe top 5 craziest type of guy that we've ever found in the course of this show.
Yeah, but we will have to get to it next episode.
Yeah, we will get to it next episode. My God, there's a lot more to get into. My name is Brace.
I'm Liz,
And producer Young Chomsky.
and this has been TrueAnon. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Let's go shooting. Jeffrey Epstein. Let's go shooting. Jeffrey Epstein.